Unatazama ELCT-KARAGWE Dayosisi Channel. Usisahau kusubscribe, like, share na kucomment.
Welcome to Karagwe Diocese. Before you is the map of Karagwe Diocese. As you can see it is divided into 9 church districts. For those who are not well versed with the ELCT structure, from the bottom you have the congregation. Actually you have a family. From the family you have a small Christian community, we call it Jumuiya. From Jumuiya you have congregation. Congregation you have a parish. From the parish you have a district. From a district you have a diocese. From a diocese you have the church. So Karagwe Diocese is comprised of 9 church districts. And you can see how the diocese is divided. But I would like to take you back first to the history. In 1910, Christianity came to Karagwe by missionaries from Bethel in Germany. But it was an accidental stopover here because the plan was that the missionaries from Bukoba were going to Rwanda to do the mission work. After walking for 2 days from Bukoba to Karagwe, they became tired and made a stopover here for a rest. They did that for several years, and later on, I think, according to the archives, at one time, they became sick and decided to stay longer in Karagwe, where they are waiting to be well to continue with the trip. And that was the beginning of the church in Karagwe. So they built a church in 1910 near the hospital where you'll see this afternoon. And that was the beginning of Christianity in Karagwe. But because the place where they started was very close to the king, who was already converted Catholic, the Roman Catholics missionaries from France advised the king to remove these Protestants and put them to another place. That's where the head office of today is, Rukajange. So from 1910, when the Christianity came with the Bethel mission missionary from Bethel Mission, in between 1910 to 1960, you see there are 2 world wars here. During the First World War, Germans were removed from the area. They were removed from the area. And the Christians who were already baptized, they were taken over by the Roman Catholics. So we became Catholics. There is a mission station which was nearby. They came in and took over the mission station, left behind by the Germans. And therefore, all members became Catholics. But they didn't stay long because of the Protestant spirit. They were protesting all the time. Then the Catholic missionaries left. And the mission station was taken over by Methodists from South Africa. So the Methodists from South Africa came over, took the mission station, and started to take care of the Christians. After 2 years, because of the language barrier, the Methodists left. Then came the missionaries from Usambara. The missionaries from Usambara, after the Germans left, for good luck in Usambara, they were already well organized. Yes.
And these Methodists were from
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah. Okay. So we received missionaries from Usambara. They came over. They continued with the work here. And because of malaria, they lost their children. Their graves are still there. We have kept them. And after 6 years, these missionaries from Usambara, they left. And the First World War was over. So came the Anglicans. So we became Anglicans from Uganda. From Lutherans, we became Catholics. From Catholics, we became Methodists. From Methodists, we came back to Lutherans. And then after being Lutherans, we became Anglicans from Uganda. These stayed longer for almost 10 years. And then they left. After they left, came the Swedes, the Danes, and the Germans. It was agreed in London that because of the experience of 2 world wars, the Germans should not be allowed to be in any mission area by themselves. They should be accompanied alongside with the other missionary societies, so that when the war comes and the Germans are kicked out, the mission area is taken care of by another partner. So we received the Swedes, the Danes, and the Germans alongside. So it was 1960 when the church was formed. In a unified way, it was called the Church of Buhaya, with the first bishop from Sweden, Bengt Sundkla. Bengt Sundkla became the bishop of the Church of Buhaya, which extended all area covered by the northwestern diocese in Karagwe of today. That was the Church of Buhaya. So Bishop Bengt Sundkla was our bishop for 4 years until 1964, when we had the first resident bishop, Josiah Kibira. So the Church of Buhaya from 1960, and then 1963, these 7 churches, including the Church of Buhaya, came together to form the current ELCT, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Tanzania. So the signatory of the Church of Buhaya in that formation of the ELCT was Bengt Sundkla. And then in 1979, the current Karagwe Diocese was born. As you can see, the area was so huge. And in this area, the northwest corner of the country was far away from Bukoba. So there was a demand from the people of Karagwe to form their own diocese. And so 1979, during the war with Idi Amin in Uganda, the diocese was born at that time. As you can see, it's the rural-based diocese. We have been around now for 45 years, ministering among 90% of small-scale farmers. And I'm the 3rd bishop. There has been the 1st bishop who was the bishop for 19 years, 18 years. The 2nd bishop was for 7, and the rest is been a bishop for 22 years now. The organizational structure of the diocese, it is similar to most of your dioceses, that you have the Synod Assembly, on top you have the Executive Council, and then you have other committees all the way down to the congregation. In terms of services that we offer, because of the big influence UEM has on us, we operate under 5 pillars of the UEM. So all the projects and projects, programs, departments, they are all structured according to UEM 5 pillars. So we have mission and evangelism, we have diaconia and health services, we have development, you can see there, we have advocacy and empowerment, we have education, we own and manage 3 English medium primary school, which is the boarding schools, 3 of them. We have 3 secondary schools. We have 1 vocation training center, 1 Bible college, and then we have Karuko College, a project which UEM has contributed greatly, and you will have an opportunity to visit it today. And well, as a rural-based diocese, far away on the remote northwest corner of the country, we go through some challenges, but we also have some opportunities. One of our, I think our strength is that the Nyambo people, we are lucky. We are not cosmopolitan like Marasusa, who brings together all these tribes all over the country. They come to Dar es Salaam. But here we are lucky that almost 90% of the people, they belong to one tribe. But this tribe is notorious in terms of they don't take things so lightly. There are two characteristics that makes a Nyambo person. Number one, do not appreciate when you do good things to him. Why? Because they don't like to disappoint you and to make you don't work. Because they believe if they thank you, then you stop working. So when you do good things, they keep quiet in order to encourage you to keep you to do more. And actually there is a traditional saying that if you thank a Nyambo person who is doing a good work, he stops. So in order to keep him working, just keep quiet. Number two characteristics of a Nyambo person. The second characteristic of a Nyambo person is that everything that you bring and tells him, he must have something to ask about it. That means they are very critical. They don't just sit there and then you bring things and they receive. No, they have to ask. Even if it's a good thing for them, they have to ask, why are you giving us this? Did we ask you this? You have to explain why you are doing it. And therefore, one quality of a leadership in this community, you have to be participatory. You have to be participatory. Whether you like it or not. When you are a leader in a group, you have to be participatory. You have to swallow your pride. Don't boast around that, you know, I'm a boss here. No, 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 no. Swallow your pride in order to lead them. If you keep your pride up on your top, you won't lead them. So one of the strengths in this, and I think this is recognized even in the ecumenical circles in Tanzania today. When you go somewhere and you ask a person, they ask, are you from Karagwe? Ah, okay, that's why. We are recognized by that. Because of, and many people do not know that this is our inborn characteristics. There are several reasons why are we that way. Number one, we were very much oppressed by the people from Bukoba, the Kesho Mshaharas. Yes. They always looked down, you see? And when you are looked at down, you tended to defend yourself, you see? Yeah, so the people from Bukoba, they were always looking down on us, and that made us to solidify and defend ourselves. But that became an inborn, yes. Yes. But secondly, the second reason behind that behavior is that the local people, the local tribe, was overthrown by Bahima Empire from north. Yes, these King Rumanyikas, the Ruhindas who died last night, all these who came to rule Karagwe, they were not Karagwe people. They came from North Ethiopia, Uganda, down here, and overthrew the local traditions and took over. And therefore, the original natives of Karagwe were thrown out of the ruling class. And therefore, on the fringes where they were thrown, they kind of gathered and developed the behavior of trying to defend their culture and their rights. And therefore, that is really in their DNA already. They are in their DNA. In order to lead them, you have to understand it. It took me a long time to discover this. But one of the missionaries who worked here for 20 years in the late 50s, he called me and he gave me orientation for 2 weeks, telling me how to lead the people of Karagwe. Yeah, Finn Allen. Yeah. So that's number one. Decisions are made in a participatory manner through meetings. If you have no meetings in Karagwe, nothing will be done. People are waiting for what? For meetings. Even though they know the answer, but they want to make decisions through meetings. Yeah. Effective use, service delivery, use of rights-based advocacy and approach. We, because of being far away, we used, and the missionaries were using need-based approach, where they brought everything. But because the church has been in decline on the West, there is no such a thing of bringing things to the people. So the best way you can do the work here is to mobilize people to fight for their rights. So we are providing services by teaching people to defend their rights, right-based approach. That's what it means there. And several others. You can get this if Enoch can print it and give it to you if you need it. Yeah, and then challenges that high rate of poverty among Christians. This is rural-based dioceses. 90% are small-scale farmers. And I'm a development expert, and therefore I would like to share this with you, that the poverty in Tanzania, there are several phases of poverty in Tanzania. And one of them is that poverty in Tanzania is a rural phenomenon. Is a rural phenomena. Of course, there is a gender phenomena, there is a location phenomena, but rural phenomena, it means that as you go further rural, you meet the vicious circle of poverty. And therefore, we minister people who are very poor, who relies on the climate. You see, who relies on the climate, relies on the well-being of environment. And then, because the diocese here is one of the social services provider in the education sector, health sector, water sector, environmental sector, we find ourselves in a competition with the government. The government that is supposed to supplement what we are doing, or we supplementing what the government is doing, it turns out to be a competitor with us. We have a hospital there, a big one with 240 beds. The government has built another one 5 kilometers away. 5 kilometers away. So it's as if it's competing with us. Instead of taking the hospital to another area where there is no hospital, they just built another one alongside us for political reasons. For political reasons. So instead of complementarity, we find ourselves in a competition with the government. What?
Competition, Christians against Christians.
Yeah. So, and then we have future priorities. They are there, strengthen strategic partnership. We are currently, I think next week, yes, next week we are meeting, and we would like to thank UEM for supporting us. We are meeting to prepare another 5-year strategic plan. This is the 4th one. So we are completing 20 years cycle of working through the strategic plan. The 3rd one has just finished. We did the evaluation. Now we are going to make another one. And would like to thank UEM for contributing towards formation of the 4th strategic plan for Karagwe Diocese. Yeah. And then we are investing in rural opportunities, agriculture value addition. You'll see it this afternoon. The construction is underway. We are constructing a factory worth of 5 billion Tanzanian shillings, which is aiming at value adding of the products that are produced here, especially ananas and avocados, to produce juices and other products out of those fruits in order to help the small-scale farmers at least get better prices out of their products. We thought by doing that we will improve the lives and the economies of the local people here. And that's it. Welcome to Karagwe Diocese. If you have any question, you are welcome to ask.
And now I learned that you are very participatory. And I take this opportunity, as the colleagues are here, to give you greetings from the General Secretary before you go out. The Reverend Dr. Anda Palundingan, he was here in January.
Yes.
Before heading to Bukoba and to ECD for the installation of a presiding bishop. So he asked me to voicely say thank you so much. And again, many greetings from a pastor from Karagwe, the family and Pastor Yoram Karusia. You contributed a lot by sending him to Germany, because he's a team member of a very strong participation to the UEM, and he's really doing well. So many greetings. I know you are in touch, but you should be proud for him as one of your pastor who is working with us as co-workers. So we want to thank you. I think I'd like to stop here. I want to donate to the colleagues to hear how participatory you are in UEM, and we thank you so much.
Unatazama ELCT-KARAGWE Diocese Channel. Usisahau kusubscribe, like, share na kucomment.